Now there's one question I always get when I explain dates. That is, how do you work with time? Because Excel can actually recognize time the same as it recognizes dates. So for example, if I type in 2 o'clock and I type in 5 o'clock, then Excel has read that as time. You see it's saying PM there on top, so it's recognized that it's time. If I subtract this, it will again, this answer is given in time. But if I change this to a decimal, it's not 1. And as you know, I'm not going to be able to do anything with 0.04. I need, in this case, a 1. So how do you get this 1? So again, we need to go back to the principle of working with dates. Now, every date is effectively a number, and 1 day is equals to 1. So everything relates back to that 1. So if I'm looking at 1 hour, how many hours are there in a day? 24. So if I take that result times 24, I'll get to the actual number. And this is how you work with time. You take your results and multiply by 24. So now I can change this to any amount, it will calculate the exact difference. So even if I do this, 24. So it always works. So it's a nice way of doing it. The only trick is now, when I've changed this to the next, to 1 o'clock, it's taking the previous day's one. So then it gives me 13 hours. So it can be tricky when you work over a few days, but then rather calculate the days first, and then whatever is remaining, calculate the time based on that. And this example is probably a very good example, where this guy started at 2 o'clock and he ended the next morning at 1 o'clock. So he didn't work minus 13 hours, he worked 13 hours. But now Excel calculates backwards. So now it looks as if he's worked minus 13 hours. So the best way of doing this, just put it inside an ABS formula. So an ABS formula just takes out all minuses. So then it will always be positive. And then you can work with positive figures. So now it shows that this guy's worked 13 hours. So that is how you work with time.